where ghostly lanterns burn. We'll dance till dawn's first light appears and banish all our woes. For in this realm of simple joys true magic always flows. The goblets clingle, chairs they creak, and laughter fills the air. For every soul who graces us, their stories we will share. Oh, sing the song of wanderers, bring with all their tales untold, of victories and perils faced and treasures gleaming gold. We toast to every valiant heart with stories yet to weave. Come join the fight, the endless night, for legends we believe.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to another glorious day here at the Tango Hotel. Yes, indeed, my friends, we have returned. After a single day of hiatus, we have returned. My son was up very, very late last night, or excuse me, very, very early last night, like as soon as I got up. So we decided to take the night off. And good to see you all. Amazing Barrel, Joker Chef, Wolf Warrior. Greetings and salutations, my friend. So, my dudes, my bros, my homies, let's get it started. Let's jump right in. The most amazing, singular thing in human civilization. It's called the simultaneous sip. And all you gotta do, my dudes, is grab that cup or mug or glass. Perhaps you have a tankard, chalice, or a stein. Maybe you got a canteen, jug, or flask. A vessel of any kind. You fill it with your favorite fluid. That's right, it's the morning coffee. Deliciously, magnificently Tango made. It's half calf anyway. I had to cut back. And join me now, friends, for the gloriousness, the stupendosity, the absolute awesome sauceness that is simultaneous sip. Brothers of the waffle, citizens of the Tango Hotel. Tap it in right. Frickin' now. Go! It's hot. Don't chug it. Yes. I remembered. And you know what? We're gonna do it one more time. There it is. I'm so forgetful that half the time I go make my coffee and then I'll come back to set up my stream and I'll completely forget that the coffee's done. And I'm like scrambling to get the stream done and I'm like, oh shit, I need to actually go make my coffee. Yeah. Soon this shall be rectified. We are going to institute proper engineering controls and I'm going to make myself a fucking checklist. Gonna happen. One day. Personally just woke up, slept for 14 hours. Damn, man. I am jealous. You know, it's funny. I started actually monitoring my sleep and trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. While I was always tired. And I started taking a sleeping medication. And I've come to find out that I still have no idea what's going on. But even when I do feel like I've slept more, according to my my freaking exercise app that tracks my smartwatch, I still sleep like shit. So even with medication. So hopefully we figure out what's going on. All right, so let's jump right into this. I think the first thing we're going to talk about is Oblivion, because of course. Because of course we're going to talk about Oblivion. Why would we not talk about Oblivion? Oblivion is awesome. They, you know, it's got the woke mind virus, like, parked inside its asshole. But, you know, everybody seems to be having fun. So, again, just one more, like, mark on the board is, like, it doesn't matter how much stupid fucking woke political shit your dumb shit has in it. Or any political nonsense your shit has in it. If it's a good game, it will sell. Period. What is it? Is that woke doesn't sell a game, but it can make a game bad. There you go. So nobody's gonna buy it because it's got it in there, but some people won't because it does. But a game like Oblivion transcends that, right? Because you've got the nostalgia aspect, you've got the fact that there are a lot of guys who are into RPGs today because of games like Oblivion. Where for me, it was like Fallout, the original 2 Fallouts, and Morrowind. Morrowind was my first exposure to the Elder Scrolls series, and it has basically been fucking downhill since. It feels like every iteration, like Oblivion when it first came out felt like ass to me, and I don't think I ever beat the game because of it. And the main reason is because of the way they did the level scaling. And so, you know, I'm running around doing like all the shit I did in Morrowind, leveling up my sneak, leveling up a bunch of stupid illusion stuff, and I'm like a fighter with magic. And I'm running around and I walk and I come up to the like first Oblivion gate, and I remember it just being like I'm whacking on this dude, and he just has his health bar feels like it's fucking infinite, right? And it's because it had of the way the leveling system works. Every time you level up, the game world levels up too. So if you want to keep pace with it, you either have to fully invest in like hard combat stuff very early, and continuously throughout the game, because if you fuck it up, you can actually make it to where your character can't kill anything unless you turn the difficulty all the way down. Which, I mean, you obviously you were able to fix stuff like this on the computer, but I was playing it on Xbox at the time, so never mind. So, but in the new release, they have, let me see, I wanted to bring up, no, we're not going to talk about that. Just, yeah, here we go. Okay. So in the new release, they have body type A and B instead of the original male, female. This is what it used to look like, body type. And Nexus mod deleted the body type mod for Oblivion. The mod was up for about 30 minutes, and moderator locked the comments, then deleted the mod 10 minutes later. Grum sums it up perfectly. This is BS. It's not important. Because this is what people will say. Oh, the body type A and B shit is not important. Why are you freaking out over it? Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't change the gameplay experience. Okay. So if it's not important, why are you censoring the mods? Why are the mods being censored? Tell me. Tell me, damn it. Why? Why do you do such horrible things? Un momento, por favor. Turn this up ever so slightly. You can kind of hear it in the background. Yeah. Probably can't hear it. Okay, there we go. Anyway. So why do you delete it? Why do you delete it if it doesn't matter? If it's not important? Why are you freaking out, bro? Well, then why do you care if I do a thing? Right? Why do you care if I do a thing? So, they deleted it 10 minutes after it was taken down. And they've been doing this a lot where anything that's explicitly anti-woke or pushing back against this stupid gender horseshit that's being pumped out by the vast majority of Blue Team. Which is one of the things why it bothers me, because if it was literally just the like hard left and it's a bunch of commies and the regular rank and file weren't literally supporting it, I would be far more okay with it. And mainly, not that I would just be okay with it, but I believe it had far less impact on stupid shit like this. Because think about it like this. Even if Reddit and Nexus mod are completely infiltrated and controlled by fucking commie bastards, that's irrelevant, right? Because you could go make your own with blackjack and hookers and it'd be better, right? Because they're limited by their like commie bullshit. And this is what I think is happening as to why as to why I believe I'm pretty sure they reinstated it. And I think they're starting to realize that the vast majority of gamers don't give a fuck about this stuff, and them actively removing mods from people is making them look bad. Because the thing about it is it's not just, oh, it has body type A and B. They've literally changed the old game and made it perceptibly worse to people who used to play it. Like, if you upgrade the graphics, nobody's really gonna bitch as long as it's an improvement. But this is not something that's an improvement. It's simply you putting your religion into the game. Because why would you change this? There's no reason to. It's simply a selector for which type of character you are gonna have. And the funny thing is regardless of it, whichever one you pick, if you pick body type A or B, they're still gonna, everybody in the world, right? They didn't completely reprogram the game. Everybody in the world still treats you as a male or female, depending on which body type you pick. They use he, him, and she, her pronouns for each individual one. And so there is none of this body type A, B, 1, 2, gender, fucking queer garbage affects the actual gameplay at all. The only thing this changes is this menu option. And the biggest reason you gotta wonder is why. And if it's not to pander to the ultra blue, then why? What is the point? Let's go ahead and read the statement. This mod has been and will likely continue to be a source of controversy within the community. After a thorough review, we've determined that the content of the mod itself does not violate our community guidelines. However, due to the nature of the topic, which often attracts intense and sometimes hostile discussion, the comment section will remain locked to prevent further escalation. So they did bring it back, because in this instance, it's not a new game that came out and you're changing it, right? And they're like, oh, it violates our guidelines because it's bigoted. This is literally the way the game used to be. The original game, it's basically a mod that reverts this selector to the version that the original game was. And so it's essentially what they'd have to do is they'd have to call the entire original game a big ass bigot, and everybody who made it bigots, and the people that currently released it bigots, because they didn't change every single pronoun in the game and all this other bullshit. And so they realized the kind of snarl they're probably in, which is why they mute the comments so there's no more fucking crazy shit going on in there, and then just let it go. And hopefully they'll continue to do this, like removing the fucking pride flags from what was it, Spider-Man game? There was every now and then you'll run across a pride flag in the game, and somebody made a mod to remove them. And it got banned. And so somebody made a mod that changed every flag in the game to the American flag, and it also got banned. And somebody else made a mod that changed every flag into the pride flag, and it's still there. Still there, boys. I'm going to make a game, ask you whether you're Protestant or Catholic. Well, this is what I do know, is that because my wife is also a smart nerd like me, just in different ways, I have learned far more about religion than I ever thought I would, especially about religions. Specifically the different sects of Christianity, and how much stuff the Catholic Church is just made up whole cloth. Completely and utterly just out of fucking nowhere. Oh, we had a meeting and we said we were going to do this. Trust, it's definitely in the Bible. Just trust me, bro. You can't read, and it's in Latin. So trust me, bro. Just trust me. It's there. Anyway, there has been a lot of speculation and misinformation regarding the removal of the original upload. You know what's funny though, Amazing Barrel? If you actually made a game that was about the Reformation, and it was about some kind of thing between Protestant and Catholic areas of the world where they either fought or had some kind of like political machinations going on in the background, you could literally just choose the side, right? So you would have an actual thing that would be like, which side do you want to play on? Do you want to play as a Catholic, or do you want to play as a Protestant? Or do you want to play as someone, as a third option where it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but, right on, buddy. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Greetings and salutations. Nice day to talk about modding, ain't it? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so there's been much speculation and misinformation. Oh, yes. Tons of misinformation regarding the removal of the original upload. To clarify, the mod was not taken down because of its content. As stated in the ban notice, it was removed due to uploader's behavior. In the comments, the uploader expressed intent to incite drama and endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. This kind of behavior directly violates our community standards. Yep, sure does. We recognize that mods like this can bring sensitive discussion around gender and identity to the forefront. Woke bullshit. Yep, true. While these are important conversations, I disagree. Our platform exists to support creative expression and modding. Does it now? Not to serve as a battleground for broader culture and political debates. Boom, there it is. They just conceded that they're withdrawing from the fucking culture war. Now, you got to remember that they're probably still going to lean like heavily blue team no matter what happens. But this is concession. That's what this is. This is a concession. Yep. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And, I mean, it's fair enough if Dude Bro expressed intent to incite drama. That's a very interesting way to phrase the bad behavior that you're talking about, as if he didn't do anything wrong explicitly, but you believe that his actions were for this reason, i.e. you're reading his fucking mind. There you go. And endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. I wonder what site it was. Because I guarantee you it could have been Fox News, it could have been Breitbart, it could have been any of the red team leaning news sites. It could have been Tim fucking Pool, dude. And this is exactly the kind of shit that they would say, right? This is exactly the kind of shit that they would say. I wonder if they really stop or if this is just a bit of PR. It's like if I posted a or X. He could have posted a link to X and they would have said this exact thing. Because I was just about to say, if I posted a tweet about Brian Krasenstein on like a red team like run site, they could say the exact same thing about me. This entire thing, exposed intent to incite drama and endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. That would be me posting posting a tweet by Brian Krasenstein on a red team site. If I did that on a site run by a fucking red team, they could say this exact same thing. And who is Brian Krasenstein? He's the fucking liar I was telling you about last time, who was using language to obfuscate about the Garcia case when they were showing the tattoos on his hand and the marijuana leaf, he put pot leaf equals M instead of marijuana equals M. Yeah, that guy. That's what they would say if I did this. If I did that on a red team site, they could say the exact same thing because that's exactly what it is. So you can so what this language is doing is it's flowery, right? And it gives you an image in your mind, but it doesn't tell you what was actually done. And instead is supposed to entice a feeling within inside you. Oh, they did a bad thing. Oh, they were trying to incite drama and posted a site for inflammatory content. But those are literally fucking opinions. This is like, oh, I'm reading his fucking mind. He's intentionally inciting drama. Unless you show me evidence, you're reading his fucking mind, as far as I'm concerned. And a site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content could be any fucking website on the internet, because that's what the entire internet is now. We're withdrawing from the culture war as long as we're winning. Yeah, but they're not winning. That's the problem. And one of the reasons they did this is because there were a lot of people who were subs to the Nexus mod site who pay money to Nexus mods who were endorsing the this mod because it's a true to classic mod, right? This is the way the original game was. This is an originalist mod. So you could say it's part of the culture war, or you could say it's anti-culture war because it's going back to the original intent that the designers had. And for whatever reason, they decided to be dumbasses and changed it. Yeah, won't even let people change mods on single-player games. You got to remember, this is a single-player. This is not an online game, right? This is a single-player game. Single. Yeah, so I think they've finally realized that if they want to remain the top dog in mods, they have to not do this anymore. Because there are alternative sites now, and they are building massive amounts of a base. Like, I don't use Nexus mods if I can help it. If I can find a mod somewhere else, I will absolutely use the mod somewhere else. I will not use Nexus mods if I can help it at all. But I will still use them if I need to, but I'm never giving them my money. And I always use my ad blockers because they can fuck off. Because of shit like this. Because they want to live the capitalist dream and be commie shit stains at the same time. I will do everything I can that is within my power to never give them any money at all, period, ever. Hands down. Just like when I watch any of Hassan's content, I make sure that he will never receive money from me. Anytime I consume it, it's always through other sources because I do not like. The man is literally like a walking fucking hypocrite. He is the like quintessential commie because every single leader, like I really do think he thinks he's going to be the leader when the revolution happens, because you got to think about it like this. Most of the leaders that come from communist revolutions come from the middle and upper middle class. Hassan, however, is the upper class, but he has brought himself down into what a lot of people would basically, he's reframed his entire life to be that rather than what he actually is, which is a trust fund baby who literally lived like royalty in Turkey, and came to the United States as a student. So, like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's fucking funny. It's really, really funny. I use Nexus a lot because Skyrim library there is massive. I don't pay for shit though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when I downloaded Skyrim and started playing it, I also went to Nexus Mods and downloaded a few quality of life mods because no other website had any good ones, and there's none on the Steam Workshop. They don't have it available. So to be able to play the game, I had to use their website. Okay. Yeah, so this is one of those things where apparently they've done some other stuff in Oblivion where they've censored some of the female armor. And I was relatively interested in this. I mean, I kind of understand why a lot of them are doing it. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. All right, let's rock this. Okay. Most variants of female armor were apparently removed from Oblivion Remastered. Body armor modders have confirmed it too. There you go. This pic is from a post I linked. Is it mine? So it looks like they're covering up the women. Like I love how the horseshoe theory actually seems to manifest in real life. It's not that it's not just that the horseshoe theory is true. It's that authoritarians tend to come to the same conclusions through different means. They want to control things, so they use whatever excuse they can to do so. And this is one of those things. It's and the really fucked up thing about it is that men like to look at scantily clad women because it's titillating and stimulating. Okay? Sex sells for a reason. If you put hot bitches in your video game, more dudes will buy it simply because there are hot bitches, right? That's just how men work. And the funny thing is that women also like to play really hot characters in scantily clad clothes. Why? Because the fantasy for men is they want the woman who's beautiful. Fantasy for women is they want to be the beautiful woman. So if you make your characters ugly and or fat and or modest, they might not be as titillating to both sexes. Because I have only met a handful of women who actually will admit that they want all the women in media covered up. Like a lot of them, I've heard them bitch about, not necessarily say the male gaze, but they'll talk around it. Like they don't understand the language they're using because they basically just heard it like second, third hand. And so they'll use that kind of language to say that, they don't like it because, it's just made for men to objectify women. But then when you ask them, so you would want to play, so if you want to play this game, you would make your character fat and ugly so that men couldn't objectify you? Well, no, I wouldn't do that. So you'd make her beautiful? Yeah. How big would you make her tits? Would they be bigger than yours? Probably. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of guys and gals who like the itty bitty titty committee. So, whatever your fetish is, you do you, right? Because, like this is one of those things. It's like, how should I put this? Everybody has their own weird thing they like when it comes to sex. And for the most part, you should keep it to your fucking self. But you shouldn't be ashamed of it, and nor should people shame you for it. But you should also keep it to your fucking self. Unless you're explicitly talking about it. But I'm talking about like in public, right? If I'm walking around, I'm not going to wear a sign that has my kink written on it being like, fucking praise me because I'm so special. Now, fuck all that shit. There will be 1,000 skimpy mods in a couple months, so it's just pissing in the wind. Yeah, of course it is. Euro's a bit stronger than USD. Yeah. See, I'm surprised they put the price for 55 here in Germany. Strange, but I did expect 60. Yeah, it's 50 here. And it's, I think, what's his name? Legendary Drops, a YouTuber who recently blew up because of his amazing videos, basically put it very succinctly. Because Xbox owns Bethesda and Xbox is no longer going to go console exclusive, with Nintendo charging $80 for Mario Kart, right? And Sony ramping up to put $80 and $100 games on the market, Xbox basically came out and be like, hey gamers, check it out. Here's Oblivion for $50. And it's just like sit back, light your cigar, and count your fucking money, bro. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how Nintendo did it with the Nintendo Wii, man. Because compared to the other systems back in the day, it was the cheap one. But it was also one for family friendly and just, it had stupid kids games. But because of like the Wii Sports, as well as the fact that it was family friendly and the fact that it was super fucking cheap, and it was literally made for couch co-op, the thing that really that made Xbox blow up as much as it did and PlayStation blow up as it did is that you could sit there with your boys and have like a 2 to 4 player game going on the couch, man. And you didn't need like 5 fucking consoles and all this other bullshit. I've watched LD's video on it already. I've been watching him a lot since you told me about it. Oh yeah, dude, legendary. Yeah, I don't want to play it on stream. He just came out with it, and I'm not really reacting to videos. I don't know, man. I'm not there yet. I did it on one of Cash Jordan's videos for immigration, and it was okay, but yeah. Anyway, but I believe he's right that Xbox is pushing their platform by being the affordable one. That's essentially what it is. It's like I seriously doubt they're pro-consumer. I don't think that's what's going on. I think that they see a hole in the market, right? That indies are slowly filling out, where you've got all these great games that are coming out that are 20, 30, $10, $20, $30, sometimes $40 if they're really good. Or if they add a lot of content or stuff like that, and they're blowing up because graphics have gotten so good to this point that we really don't need the most high fidelity graphics you could possibly imagine. There are a few games where you want that, where it could be a selling point. But especially as consoles slowly catch up to PC when it comes to graphical fidelity, high frame rate, a lot of that shit will go away and it'll be about style. Because how many games do you remember from back in the day that look like absolute shit today because they were pushing the 3D modeling, right? Because they wanted to do the 3D modeling as much as possible, and the technology was so primitive compared to today that the game looks like ass compared to the games before it, simply due to the fact that the style and art of the 2D versions of the game and stuff like that were way more appealing to the eye than the 3D polygonal fucking, super dark, not a lot of sprites around stuff from the early 3D days. But that was because they were pushing technology, right? And so that's one of the reasons it sold, and everybody thought it was cool back then. When you go back now, it looks like trash. But it was a great selling point then, just like photorealistic video games are today. And soon, photorealistic video games will be a thing. And I can't wait until AI is implemented into it. Because it's gonna make it interesting when you can use a powerful chatbot that is similar to, say, ChatGPT, to be able to, within parameters, randomly generate dialogue, story quest, or just small quests maybe, as well as what is the word I'm looking for? Kind of like it does in XCOM, where it generates a random mission, and then on the mission it has certain parameters that you have to do. Something like that. Because I've been thinking about the Star Trek game that I wanted to make, that was basically like a PvE looter shooter. And I was thinking about how you could use that to transform every single match in a certain way, right? You build out the ships, you destroy them, and then you make copies and stick them all over the place. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's more procedural generation than anything. But what I'm saying is like the kind of stuff in the future. Like imagine you had Oblivion or Skyrim or Morrowind or Fallout. Any of those games, or more of the text-heavy ones like Rogue Trader and Pillars of Eternity, where it's literally like books of dialogue. Like you literally will read a couple novels going through these games worth of stuff, which is fine. But the problem is that it is a barrier to people entering the space, right? Because a lot of people don't just want to sit there and read to enjoy themselves like that. And so if you have AI generated voice actors to read stuff that's ancillary, that's not super important, if you have AI to come up with random story quests, it will make games like that far more expansive, right? You just have to program in parameters that they can abide by, limits that they can't exceed, so that they don't do something super lore-breaking or retardedly stupid. Companies will never be pro-consumer in a virtuous way. Exactly. Simply treat your customer well, and you will have a customer base that will be less poised to jump ship the moment someone more affordable or whatever enters the market. It's not just that. It's that look at how much people still glaze and suck the dick of Bethesda, no matter how much they fuck up. No matter how many of their games are fucking absolute trash, they still continue to have high amounts of favor. Why? Because of Fallout 3, because of Morrowind, because of Oblivion, because of Skyrim, because of the games that they've released in the past that have basically entrenched nostalgia and feelings of like warm fuzziness in their fan base. This is essentially what's going on. And every time they make a shitty game, they're cashing that in because they're putting forth less effort than is required to make a good game and still trying to cash in on everything else. And people do remember this. Like I remember playing Fallout 4 for the first time and I was overjoyed. I remember how I'm so ready for this. And then as I started to creep into the game more and more, and then you get out of the beginner area, you start to see more of the flaws in the leveling system, the flaws in the fact that at the very beginning, they literally give you fucking power armor and you get to fight a Deathclaw. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the power armor is mostly useless at the beginning of the game because you don't have the stuff, you don't have the good armor that goes on it, you don't have fusion cores and all this other stuff. But the problem is they wanted to show the best of the game up front. And instead of doing that in like a trailer or somebody playing gameplay from later in the game, showing them what you could eventually achieve, they put it at the very beginning of the game so you can experience it. And then they take it away. And that works in some games, but in a game like Fallout, man, it's stupid. Especially in a game like Fallout, because the first big enemy you fight is the goddamn Deathclaw. It is the quintessential in-game boss of like Fallout. And they put it front and center. And with the power armor, if you know what you're doing, and so you've played the game before and you know a lot about the game, you can literally take your power armor, walk like 10 minutes down the road, and you can find more fusion cores, more armor plates, and you're basically invincible in the early game. Like, I know that's how it's supposed to be, where if you have good game knowledge, you become a lot harder to kill, and it's a lot easier to play the game. But power armor, really? Anyway, the point is the game had a lot of flaws, and everybody knew it. Even people who were super hyped about the game, even people who, I was super hyped about the game. I was hoping that, they would take a step back from what they did with Skyrim and dumbing down their games and make them easier. And what I was hoping is that they would finally figure out a way to make the RPG-ness that they're known for more easily approachable by layman's, but still deep enough to where somebody like me can really, really dig into it and have a lot of fun with it. And they fell flat on their face. They basically got rid of almost all of the things that come with leveling and turned everything into basically every time you level up, you get an upgrade that you can click. And they all have requirements and stuff like that. So basically just turned it into a solo perk system, which wasn't very good in my opinion. And so every iteration of a Bethesda game has just gotten simpler and simpler and dumber. And it's been a complaint for a long time that's pushed a lot of people away, including myself. Like, I did not even entertain the fact that I did not entertain that I was even going to buy or even try to play Fallout 76. And I was completely justified when it came out that in what I thought, because it was a complete mess. And to this day, it's gotten improvements, yes, and it's definitely playable, more playable than it ever was, but it still doesn't mean it was an absolute cash grab by Bethesda to fuck over their customer base for cheap cash. And so what Bethesda's doing here is, I think Xbox is using the Bethesda name and the nostalgia that it brings up to set their place in the market so that they can compete with PlayStation and they can compete with Nintendo, who are fully exclusive, right? Nintendo does not host hardly any other stuff on their platforms. Occasionally you'll get a few ports over to Switch, which I did, which are there, but it's not like you could play most of your PC games on your Switch. Trust me, I would have probably bought it a lot sooner if you could. You hope the Elder Scrolls 6 will be a lot better than Starfield? Okay, that's really loud. Apparently I turned it up too loud. Sorry about that. Turn it back down. There we go. I guess it was just at a really quiet part. Yeah, I'm hoping so too, man. But I have little faith. I have little faith, and the reason I have little faith is because unless Xbox forces them to do so, I don't think they have the gumption within their own company to do it. I don't think they can make Oblivion anymore. I don't think they can make Skyrim anymore. I definitely don't think they can make Morrowind or Fallout 1 or 2. Absolutely 100%. I do not believe they can do it. They do not have the ability. They do not have the writing chops. They do not have the programming chops. They don't know. It feels like they don't even really know what the fuck they're doing, right? This remake wasn't even made by Bethesda, right? This was made by another studio that's done other remakes really well. And as you can see, they did a pretty good job of it. Some of the way they changed the races and stuff looks a bit weird, but I mean, that's, porting from one engine to another. So, what are you going to do, right? Also, the funniest thing is that it's the body type selector is also one of the most endorsed Oblivion remastered mods. Funny that, right? So not only is it has the culture war pushed back. Not only have they pushed back from the culture war, Nexus mods, I'm pretty sure this is probably why, right? But anyway, like I was saying about Bethesda and Xbox, I think they did this because it sets them up to be an actual true competitor for the gamer. And I think that's what they're going to try to brand themselves as, because PlayStation and Nintendo left the market wide open. And that vacuum is going to be filled by somebody, and Xbox said it was going to be them. I think that's what this is. They released it like this because they said it's going to be them. And that's what they're doing. All right, so what's next? That off. So they released the mods. Heck says, oh yeah, let's talk about this. This shit is fucking hilarious. The only reason I really want to talk about this is because of this right here. Because of this right here. Make him a sandwich. The reason that I want to talk about this is because this is how my wife got me. And I'm not even lying. I made the joke one night. She was like, "Oh man, I don't feel good, and I gotta go to work." And I was like, "Would it make you feel better if you made me a sandwich?" She gave me the dirtiest fucking look. And then went and made me a sandwich anyway. That was the moment I knew she was a keeper. Hands down. Like, I swear to God. That's pretty much how it happened. Is that I made the joke, would it make you better if you made me a sandwich? Would you make you feel better if you made me a sandwich? And she did. And she fucking did. And it really showed me that this is what she wanted. That's number one. And number two, like it's hard to describe. Basically, it's one of these things where I cannot properly articulate how it actually made me feel. All I know is I was already in love with her, right? We were already dating and stuff like that, and so we were doing that. And this is before I became a dad to her 2-year-old daughter that she had, almost 2 years old. And after that, it was like it really made me step up my game. Just like I told you when she would clean and it would make me feel like shit, and it was because I was sitting on my ass being lazy watching her clean. And so that instead of it making me angry and me giving her shit over it, which is how I felt like doing, I realized that it was because she was making me look bad. Because she was making me look bad because of my own faults, not hers. She was trying to better herself in our area, and I was the one that was dragging it down. And so that's when I resolved to just not feel that way anymore, which meant I had to get up and help. And it was things like that, as well as, the making me a fucking sandwich, that she really got me. She really got me. She showed me that she cared a lot about me and my happiness, because I do like me a sandwich. And I tell you what, there is nothing that tastes better than when my wife makes it. Plain and simple. Half the issues would be solved if they stick the power armor training. You would get the PA at the beginning as normal, but it would just chew through fusion cores fast to keep you slow as a snail with the accuracy penalty. Yeah, that they could have done that too. I mean, it was broken and shit too, so there is that. But my whole thing was that it instead of showing you something cool that you can obtain later, it gives it to you at the very beginning, but it's in a shitty way, and then it takes it away, and that leaves a different kind of taste in your mouth, if you know what I'm saying. Not like a good sandwich though, especially if it's made by my wife, but only for me. She only makes sandwiches for me, so fuck all the rest of you. And my sandwiches, goddammit. But anyway, it engendered a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings toward her and just our entire situation. And it really showed me that, unlike a lot of other women that I had been involved with, that she actually did care about me and the things that made me happy. And from basically then on, I have been absolutely 100% trying to live up to that example. Yeah, seriously. My wife is a virtuous woman. What can I say? To me, she exemplifies virtue. If you ask her that, she would say that's not true, and that's why I say it is true. And because of that, it made me a better man. And so it's one of the things about it is that a lot of dudes are really shit. A lot of women are really shit. And the problem is a lot of people who want love and marriage and even potentially children end up getting with people who are either bad for them, or they're shit, or they're both shit, and they end up fucking feeding off of each other, and it ends up, destroying themselves. One of the biggest things I can say about marriage, or just having a relationship with a woman as a man, is talk. Yeah. Basically. Don't let her bring up all the drama with like, oh, I need to talk to you later, and it's 9 a.m. in the morning and you're at work. Don't let her do that. But in general, I constantly make sure that my wife feels safe, secure, and that I am attendant to her needs as well. So if she wants to go like work out at the gym, I make sure she has time to. If she wants to take a break from fucking dealing with fucking little rugrats all day, I give her that break. Even if it's just to literally go down and sit in her comfy chair in the bedroom for like 10 minutes and just stare at the wall. Like, there have been plenty of times where she's done exactly that. Where all the sandwiches of yes. My sandwiches. They're all mine. But and this is the thing, is it's not just gonna work for every relationship. If you want a man and you're a woman, you know, the only real advice I can give you is that beware that the true monsters, the ones that will not save their monstrosity for the things that lurk in the night, but will actually use it against you, they look just like the rest of us. That's the problem. Psychopaths, people who freaking do really bad things to women and children. You know what I'm referring to. They look just like the rest of us. Yeah, sometimes a lot of them have like the physiognomy or whatever the fuck that word is, where they look like they're fucking disgusting freaks, and so they turn out to be disgusting freaks. But we all know that people like Ted Bundy, you know, have like the strong masculine jaw. They're freaking very charismatic and can easily manipulate women to get them to do things. Yeah. Especially if you know the kind to look for. And so I saw this and I was just like, yes, make him a sandwich. Because if you have found an actual good man, making him a sandwich will actually be, you know, will engender him a lot to you. My wife makes almost all of my food for me, and I told her she doesn't have to. One, she wants to, because she wants to make sure that I'm eating properly. And two, she likes doing it for me. And all the food, that, like she could put a hot dog in a microwave and hand it to me, and it would taste better than if I put a hot dog in a microwave and then ate it. I've actually done the test. I've actually done it. And it just does. And I think it's just because she makes it. And I think it's something it's absolutely something in my brain. And there's a lot of crude sayings around this kind of thing. If you want a man, make sure his stomach is full and his balls are drained. Not only will you keep your good man, but he will not stray from you. And there is some truth to that, although there are men who will philander no matter how much sex you give them, right? That is just the nature of the beast as it is. Like my father, for instance, who is a philanderer and a, what's the word I'm looking for? Adulterer. There you go. And just a horrible piece of shit human being. All around. And I seriously doubt I will shed a single tear the day he dies. Anyway, so now comes the woman sphere. Womanosphere? Oh my God, please, come on. The anti-feminist media telling women to be thin, fertile, and Republican. Well, I can tell you this. You can't help it if you're fertile, necessarily, but if you're healthier, you're more likely to be fertile. You can't help it to be thin unless you know, because you're depending on how your body is structured, you could still be not fat, right? And as far as Republican goes, it's like, yeah, who gives a fuck about that? But the funny thing is, it's like if you want an actual good man who will do all of the things that a good man will do, then you must be a good woman to be able to attract a good man. Because if you think you're a good woman, right, and you end up only dating stupid assholes who end up fucking you over, the common denominator is you. Every relationship, always the common denominator is you. So if you're having relationship issues, there's something wrong with you and you need to fix it. Now, there's not something wrong with you intrinsically. That's not the case. Now, there might be if you're like crazy and you're like, you know, and the voices in your head are telling you to eat people. Now, obviously, there's something wrong with you that you can't change. My point is that there's something with your personality, with the way you are, that just turns off the opposite sex. And it's the same with dudes. If you are going out with women all the time and you just can't find the one and they all end up leaving or running away or what the fuck ever, the common denominator is you. There's something you're doing that is wrong, that's turning these people off of you. And a lot of it usually is just vibes. Like, I've been around bad dudes before, really bad dudes, and they do give off a really weird vibe a lot of times. And the funny thing is that there are a lot of people I've met in my life where I just feel uncomfortable around for some reason, and you don't know why. And a lot of it has to do with that kind of shit. It's just some individuals exude creepiness. It's just the way it works. It's unfortunate because some of them are actually not bad dudes, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. If you don't have a double chin, your weight is probably manageable enough. Yeah, especially as a woman. Like the thing you got to remember is, especially for a lot of dudes that I know and me, aging is not the problem. You getting older as a woman is not a problem, because my wife is. I met her when she was 13, and I think she's more beautiful now than she's ever been, and she's a lot heavier than she used to be, because obviously she's an adult now, and older, and therefore has suffered from the effects of being older, right? As you would as a woman approaching 40. And she is more beautiful now than she's ever been in my entire life. And a lot of it has to do with just how I feel about her and how it shapes how I perceive reality, is what it boils down to. And that's the thing, is that, you know, both me and my wife have both struggled our entire lives with weight issues. And together we have, you know, reinforced good behavior with one another to the point where we're finally both able to say with pride and certainty that we're both relatively healthy. She has a lot of medical issues that also stunt her ability to do it. Mine don't so much. Mine's mostly just in my brain anyway. Motivation is a damn thing. But it is one of those things where if you want a good man, you need to be a good woman. If you're not a good woman, you're not going to find a good man, right? If you want the guy who's from the novels, you know, who's the monster inside, but you can tame him. If you want to be that, you got to be something that looks like these ladies, right? You don't have to be a Republican. That's irrelevant. But at least trying to be thin, you know, not being unhealthy, not being super fucking overweight. Yes, being fertile, doing things that ensure that you have the ability to bear children is probably a good thing, because even though a lot of men would probably say they don't want to have children, I did when I was young, I ended up wanting them later, especially once I was convinced that it was a good idea. Do you like your civilization? Yes. Do you wish it to continue? Yes. Do you appreciate the fact that you had a civilization that uplifted you and allowed you to be the man that you are today? The answer is yes. So, if all that is true and you wish it to perpetuate into the future, then you need to have children. Because our entire system, the way our entire system works in the West, in all of the Western countries, is you need people to work, to pay taxes, to be able to maintain what we have and build more in the future. And if you don't have children, then you're not contributing to that future in the same way that other people are. You're contributing to the present by working, right? But you're not contributing to the future in a more meaningful way. And that was really the crux of it. And that's what was like, okay, so that kind of convinced me. And then it came to the whole point. I was like, am I really a man if I don't do these things? If I don't build for the future and you know, plant seeds that I'll never see the fully grown tree, right? And so it really inspired me to do this, and that's when me and my wife got back together. She already had a 2-year-old, and she was willing to have more, and so that's where we are. And it's because, and a lot of the thing I wanted was a woman who wanted to be a homemaker and a housewife. That's what I was looking for, because I wanted to have children, and I was willing to be a stay-at-home dad, but the vast majority of women do not want that. Because I want, like, the best way for you to raise your children, in my opinion, is that you have a full-time parent in the house. So that when they're small, they always have an adult that is part of the family, and not just, you know, an aunt watching them. That's not what I mean. I mean, mom or dad in the house all day, every day, with the kids, teaching them all the things. And speaking of that, I have, where is it? Is it this one? There it is. Speaking of children, you are not smart enough to homeschool your children. Sunday, you are not smart enough to homeschool your children. I am. And in the vast majority of states that allow homeschooling, the only thing that is required to homeschool is a high school diploma. Now, I can entertain arguments that that's not enough, and considering that a lot of people graduate high school with the inability to read at a 12th grade level or do math at a 10th grade level, one could say that, oh, just having a high school diploma isn't enough. Well, yeah, true. It should be, because, you know, if it actually meant anything, it would be. But it doesn't, because we've lowered the standards enough. And one of the reasons the standards are the way they are is because of fucking opinions like this, in my opinion. In my opinion. And the thing about it is that there are a lot of people who are smart enough. And I think the vast majority of people who want to homeschool are smart enough. It's just that some of them are religious nuts. Some of them are. And in fact, my wife was a victim of homeschool abuse, in the fact that her mother took her out of school and said she was homeschooling her and then didn't do shit. Oh, 1,000,000 times. That sounds great. Yay. More computation. Brute force it. Anyway, so for me, it also boils down to the vast majority of people are probably not smart enough to teach their children high school algebra or English or geometry or probably any of the stuff that's in high school. So that is fair. But grade school? Come on now. Come on. And so it really does boil down to the fact that either they're your for me, this really does boil down to they're either your children or they're not. As simple as it is. And the reason it's dangerous to put the state in between parent and child is because the parent is also morally responsible for their children. Right? So what this means is that if you stand in the way of a child and their parent, right, and you do stuff like this, well, let's just say, how should I say this? I'm using too much insinuation here. I need to spell it out plainly. The more the state comes between the child and the parent, the less responsible the parent is for the child, right? And what I say, the reason I say that is if your child is like 14 and steals some shit or breaks some shit, you're going to be held responsible for it, and you're going to have to pay restitution for it, right? So you are held responsible for the child's decisions. But when they do the stupid shit where they go to school and they change their genders and they hide it from the parents, well, that's okay, right? Even though you're still morally responsible if they go take their new dress. If your young boy takes his new dress and then takes a baseball bat to someone's car, you still have to pay restitution, but you don't get to be in any decision that involves that, as far as some states are concerned, right? So this is where it comes to, like, one of the reasons I disagree with this is on a rights level. But the thing is it's not that you shouldn't. It's the insinuation. It's the statement that most people are not smart enough. And for all of school, this is true. I do agree that the vast majority of people are not smart enough to teach their children all the way through high school by themselves. But a good portion of them are smart enough to teach children at least up until they're in middle school. And then with other help, they could get further, right? It's not that hard to do that for one student. Because that's really what it boils down to, is that when you homeschool, your student is singular. Or maybe you have a few kids, so you have several students to one teacher, but it's not one teacher to 30 kids, right? Like, I really do think that half the reason I learned anything in school was because of my ADHD and my autism. Because I would get super interested in something, and I would literally just read the textbook. I did this all the time. in a bunch of stupid shit. And the only subjects I never did this in was like English, because it was all learning how to write and read, and specifically all the stupid fucking rules and all this. Oh my God, it was so, I despised it. I fucking despised it. Absolutely despised it. But when it came to like mathematical concepts, history, science, I remember times, especially in high school, specifically in high school, I was in AP biology and we had a textbook that was like this thick. And we were not going to go through the entire book. We were skipping a bunch of chapters, going through back and forth and a bunch of stuff, because we were taking it as an AP course, and we were going to take the AP test at the end, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But I think I can't remember, we were doing something, and it got me interested in the subject that we were talking about. So I continued to read it, and I read it, and I read it, and I continued to read it, and I just kept fucking reading it until I had fucking gone through the entire goddamn book. That doesn't mean I didn't skip stuff, because I did, but I read the vast majority of the fucking textbook just because I was fucking interested in what it was saying. I learned all kinds of crazy new shit about how biological science works just doing that, specifically in human anatomy. And no, I didn't do it for sex. I did it for literal human anatomy. I was fascinated. My entire time in school, we never got through a whole textbook. Yeah, then that's the thing, is that most textbooks you don't go all the way through. You basically, it gives you it's a giant reference manual. And each school picks essentially what's important to that they think they should do. And not only that, you have to make concessions based on time and based on how the class is progressing and stuff like that. And that's one of the advantages that homeschooling does, is that because it cuts down on the amount of people in the class, especially when it comes to my children, my daughter gets 100% attention when she is doing schoolwork. So if she has any questions, if she is having any problems, they are immediately addressed, and the pace goes with her, not someone who's slower and or someone who's faster. You leave too many people behind if you go at the pace of the fastest student in the classroom, and you leave too many people bored when you go at the slowest pace. When you go at the pace of the slowest person in the classroom. This is what happened to me the vast majority of my time in school, is that we went at the pace of a lot of the slower individuals in school, and I was always fucking bored. So hence why I would read textbooks. As dumb as that sounds. There are a lot of not smart enough parents. The key issue is that too many parents expect schools to raise children, which granted the school can round out, but not heavy lifting. Yeah, true. And it's also that, yes, those people will probably not be good at homeschooling, but you also got to remember that they're probably not going to homeschool because they're irresponsible parents to begin with. Most irresponsible parents do not homeschool. You understand that, right? So the problem is that the vast majority of people who are not qualified to homeschool won't. It's like a self-selection process, right? Where you have, like, sending your child to school is a great way for you to be able to have a lot of free time without your child. So you can either work or you can do other things. And so to give that up is a sacrifice. So now you have to figure out how to not only take care of your kid all day, but also educate them. So you are more self-selected because you are doing those things to be able to do the thing, right? Because it's actually hard. It's not easy at all. And while children are, and one of the ways that Tennessee copes with this, especially now, is that you still are required to do standardized testing, right? And my daughter has learning disabilities, and so the way and this was the big thing with the schools for us. It was the way that they were treating her. They weren't properly addressing her disability needs, and they were using things that were supposed to be tools to help her with her disability as punishment. And they were not, what should I say? They were not giving her any attention that she needed to actually learn anything. So she would sit in school and literally just draw all fucking day and do art or whatever the fuck she wanted and not actually learn anything in school. Right. And so she was having trouble doing basic arithmetic. And so me and my wife would do things at home with her in the afternoon. And to help catch her up, because she barely learned anything at school all day. And so at that point, we just decided, fuck them. If they're going to mistreat her, if they're not going to properly educate her, if they're not actually going to follow the goddamn IEP, that was the most thing, is it an IEP, individual assessment, fucking whatever. I don't give a fuck what it says. I don't give a fuck what it's called for. It makes me angry because they have all this bureaucratic bullshit paperwork that you're supposed to fucking do, and then all the fucking bureaucrats don't fucking follow it. This is the problem I have with giant bureaucracies, is that it sounds great. Oh, we have rules and everybody does this, but the bureaucrats don't fucking follow them. They think themselves all fucking high and mighty. And then they don't even follow their own goddamn plans. Oh, because in the moment it's too stressful and all these other things. That's why you're a goddamn professional, fucking asshole. Space Marine, really? Okay, fine. Fine. There, how's that? So anyway, they don't follow their own goddamn IEPs. And this was something that happened like on a weekly basis, multiple times a week. They would not follow the goddamn IEP plan. Oh, because there weren't enough teachers. We didn't have enough ability to do this, or we couldn't do that because of this reason. There was always fucking some lame ass excuse that felt like somebody was just fucking lazy and pulled out of their ass as to why they couldn't treat my daughter the way she was supposed to be treated. This is why she's homeschooled, is because we love her. And we're going to make sure that she can read, she can write, and she can do goddamn arithmetic. And hopefully, because she's very smart at math, I can actually teach her how to do calculus before college. So, wait, did it go off?
Oh, it didn't stay on. No! There we go. Okay. There it is. Now that I've done with my angry rant, for some reason it immediately turned off. I don't know why that is. It should be on now though. Yes? Yes? Okay. I'm setting the timer at some point. At some point I will figure out how to use technology where I can just do the thing instead of like acting like a fucking boomer. Oh boy. Okay, so timer 5 minutes. There it is. Let's do 4. 'Cause we've already been doing it for at least 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. So they weren't doing what the IEP said, and we go to these meetings to talk about the IEP. Basically, it's a plan, individual education plan, I think is what it's called. It's a plan on how to properly address the learning disabilities that a child has. And so you sit at this fucking meeting, you talk to these fucking teachers, and you all come up with this plan based on how you have interacted with the child in question. And so these are the same people who sat in this fucking meeting with us and then did these things. Like it was absolutely infuriating. It happened in Nashville. It happened in fucking Spring Hill. It was atrocious what they were doing to my daughter. And I think a lot of it is that my daughter just, one of the reasons it was so hard for them was because my daughter just does not respect authority. Unless it's daddy. And so she knew that she could literally just take off her clothes in the middle of class and they weren't going to do anything about it. Which she did on more than one occasion. And other things like one time she actually got out of the school building and was playing in a dumpster when they found her. My child is a flight risk, by the way, because of her autism and ADHD. So yeah. Yeah, when they found her, after she got out, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th time. But that's when we decided to homeschool her. Yeah. And funnily enough, she's actually now doing better than ever. She's still behind on English and stuff, but that's just because she is. Just like me, she fucking hates it. But math, she's like, she can do stuff that's far ahead of her grade level. Easy. Because early on I taught her algebraic concepts when she was doing basic addition and subtraction, right? I taught those because I knew that they would be good later, and if she learned them early, when she was doing her regular stuff, then she would be fine. So instead of using like X's and letters and all that other shit, I used a question mark. Because it's like, oh, we don't know what this is, so we use a question mark, right? That's what a question mark means, it's a question. And then so 5 plus 1 is a question, equals question mark. Well, question mark is we don't know it, right? So 5 plus 1 equals 6, right? She followed along, and then I moved the question mark on the other side of the thing, and then, put 6 on the outside of the equal sign, and be like, this is the same exact problem, just worded slightly differently. And from then on, she can like pop math off, even algebra, just like it's nothing. The letters still confuse her, but we're still working on that. If I take the letters away and I use just question marks and squiggles and stupid shit like that, no problem. So she's just having a problem with the letter thing. So, yeah, this is one of those things. There are a lot of people who are not, and I mean the thing about it is that this is one of those times when I think this is correct. It's because it's not about being smart enough. It's about who cares about your children more, a bureaucrat paid by the state, or you. Because there are a lot of parents who will, even if they were able to, would not homeschool their children because they just don't care enough to. Because they just don't care enough.
I don't know how easy that was to understand. I'm assuming it was not. So we're just gonna move on. Okay, now we're gonna get into some really, really, really wicked shit. Yes. So Brian Krasenstein, whatever the fuck his name is. Yes. So the FBI has arrested a Wisconsin judge for allegedly helping an immigrant avoid capture. Okay. So what do we use this for context? Oh, we immediately go to fucking Nazi Germany. Once again, Brian Krasenstein showing that he cannot make any fucking comparison that is not fucking, he's a Nazi! He's a fucking Nazi! FBI Director. Gotta love it, dude. You gotta love it. Tweet. Let's see, is it his tweet in here? Yeah, okay, so FBI arrested a Milwaukee, Wisconsin judge on charges of obstruction after evidence of obstructing immigration arrest operation last week. We believe judge intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Okay, so here's the thing. Is this bad? Yes, it is. Are judges people? Yes. Do they commit crimes? They sure do. So, no one's above the law, right? It's not Nazi Germany to hold people accountable for the bad things that they do, is it? And we'll get into that in a second. And the reason I say this is because this is exactly what they would say when it was the other way around. And so I'm just playing the meme game. And so is this an escalation of what they would consider the war around, the culture war around immigration? Yes. But there was also another judge that was recently arrested. Cash Jordan did a video on it, where a judge had a Trende Aragua gang member living in his fucking house, renting out a room or some shit. And apparently it was very obvious that he was a member of the gang, and it was very obvious what he was doing here in the country. And so the judge was also arrested because they were essentially harboring a criminal. Godwin's Law at it again. Yeah, I know, right? It immediately goes to this when it's like they literally arrested and charged and convicted a woman in Britain, a black woman who was from Nigeria, I think, of slavery. Guess what she was? She was a Human Rights Council judge. Judges are not immune from the law. This is one of those things where it's like, oh, she allegedly did this. Okay, well, this could be bad, but let's wait to see what's going on because it's entirely possible she broke the law. No. She's an innocent baby angel, and guess what? Nazis! Nazi. I'm gonna clip that. I'm totally gonna clip that. There's no way I'm not clipping that. That was a good one. And so for me, it's like,
Kash Patel's tweet.
Maybe if our government stopped shipping innocent immigrants off to foreign torture prisons, innocent immigrants, that's illegal aliens, by the way, to foreign torture prisons, maximum security prisons for terrorists and gang members. So you see what I'm saying here. Now, is it entirely possible that the Trump administration and Kash Patel here are off their rocker and are absolutely shredding the Constitution? Yeah, it's entirely possible. They could be doing some really bad shit. The thing about it is that we don't know. And I find it, as much as Kash talked about weaponizing the FBI and using it against the American people, unless he's a complete fucking psychopath, I don't see him doing that. Now, that doesn't mean, as I've talked about with pardons, that he isn't ideologically blinded by what he's doing, in that he thinks he's doing what's right, and so it's okay to break this rule because it's what's right, right? That's what a lot of people like this think, right? That's what a lot of people like this guy think, which is why he would make excuses for the other side if they did some stupid shit like this, right? It's always excuses for my side and Nazis for the other. Both teams do it, and that's just how it is. Now, I haven't really looked too much into this. I just wanted to throw it down because of Brian's tweet here, because it immediately makes you think of something that, like, all he did was say this judge was arrested for allegedly helping an immigrant avoid capture. So if she was arrested for an alleged crime, she wasn't helping an illegal immigrant avoid capture. She was aiding and abetting a criminal. That's what it's fucking called. So you can see how the language is mutated so that it's more beneficial to the individual in question than the other side. Rather than being neutral, it leans, and you can really see it when you break down the language. And then immediately going to the fucking Nazi meme, that's just, that's straight up propaganda. Right here, innocent immigrants, unauthorized immigrants, and illegal aliens. This is what this also encompasses, because we all know that there are actual criminals in there, and that if there are innocents, we should protect them. But that's not what he's saying. No, innocent immigrants are being shipped off to foreign torture prisons. Because of course, a third world country full of brown people cannot have a proper justice system. Can they, Brian? Can they? They can't have a maximum security prison without it being a torture prison. You trying to say something, Brian? Is it because they're not white? Is that why? Is it because they live in a third world country? Is that why? You fucking asshole. God, I hate this fucking ass. It makes me mad, because this is the kind of thing that if someone on Red Team said, that's exactly the kind of pushback they would get. There would be charges of racist. There would be charges of imperialist. All this bullshit, horseshit that they would pull out for saying something like that. And yet he can say it with just pure, unadulterated, I don't give a fuck, and it's perfectly fine for him, right? Because of course he's not racist, right? Of course he's not. So he can absolutely fucking criticize brown people, unless they're brown people here, and then he can't criticize them because they're sweet baby angels, right? The same, like, I love it. You're talking about the same kind of people that came from countries like this, right? So these are they bring the same culture that this is coming from, right? Right? Because that's how they view white people, remember? That's how they view white people. Like, whiteness is showing up to work on time. It's hard work. Yep. Okay. So now that I'm done making fun of Brian, I think we're just gonna move on from this. This is one of those things where
to evade arrest. Now they say,
I don't know what's going on. Is there any other links? Oh, and immediately, look at this. Helping an illegal alien. Yep, anyone harvesting a fugitive. And Frank was a fugitive. Do you see the brain rot? When confronted with someone who's saying, this person was illegal, so they have committed a crime, he immediately goes to Anne Frank, who never actually committed a crime, but was made illegal by the fact that she was a Jew. So I would like to point out that he is literally making the we should ignore the courts arguments. We should ignore the system argument. The same argument that he was criticizing other people for making last week about ignoring the Supreme Court. He's fucking making that argument now. Life is a play, but it is not a tragedy. It's a comedy. Absolutely a comedy. So, like, he just can't stop, dude. He literally sees Nazis around every corner. Because here's the thing. You can do this with any administration. Because the Nazis drank water, dude. The Nazis drank water. So guess what? Do you drink water? Oh my God. You're echoing the actions of Nazi Germany. Yes. Yes. By drinking water, you are absolutely echoing the actions of Nazi Germany. By becoming a vegetarian, you are echoing the actions seen in Nazi Germany. By advocating for meth use, you are echoing actions we've seen in Germany. Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany. When the left burns Bibles, they are echoing actions we've seen in Nazi Germany. Oh my God, dude. It's like, it's one of these things where I don't know if he's just a midwit or if he's a psychopath. Because he's really good at it. He really is. But to make this argument and then literally say, I'm not comparing the two, but you just fucking did. You contradict yourself. Yes, fascist dictators also implement child health care programs. Fascist dictators also implement child care programs that are free for the poor. You know what else they do? Fascist dictators do? They implement socialist systems like welfare states. Oh my God, dude. Like you could literally do this. And I agree with this. It's not often history does rhyme. But like it's such an intellectually lightweight fucking thing to come out and literally compare the two and then say you're not comparing the two. And that these are the actions that fascist dictators use. Fascist dictators use a lot of actions that are not fascist. Fascism comes from the ideological standpoint from which they come from. Right? This is why you can have a welfare state. This is why you can have programs that give free childcare to the working class and the poor, and it not be fascist. Even though the fascists did those things, even though the fascists has created work programs to build up infrastructure, even having bills sent through the government for infrastructure programs. Well, Nazis did that. We can't do that. Is that fucking retarded it is when you actually take it to its logical conclusion? Oh my God. So anyway. Yeah, so this could be bad, and we will probably continue to talk about this as more comes out. I don't know much, and I don't want to get into it overly much in this moment because I haven't really been able to find much other than the news report, and we'll see more later. I think there was a there was something in a report. Is it in the CNN clip? Let me see.
Read to you, FBI directed
Okay.
federal agent.
We believe intentionally misdirected. Okay, we already read that. I thought there was another one. Yeah, I thought there was another one. I might be mistaken. Where it had like the police report for the judge. Let's see. Are you fucking kidding me, man? I can't type in judge arrested. Wow. That's interesting. So, judge arrested. Something went wrong. Okay. If I put in judge arrested in Wisconsin, is it Twitter having something going on with it? What if I do? Okay, so it's just the search feature. All right, there you go. Well, so it's not some fucking conspiracy. That's great. That's great. Ba-dum-bum bum bum. Ba-da-bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. This give... I think we found something. Law shun. Judicial integrity when judges break the law. Okay, that's not right. My bad. My bad. This is something else. Is this the court document? Read the FBI file charging document. Okay, so we actually do have the document right here, boys. Right here, right here. Oh, it's the New York Times. Dude, fuck you, New York Times. I fucking hate you. I absolutely despise you. Go fuck yourself. So I can't use the search function. And all of them are screaming, oh, it only took 95 days. It only took 95 days for us to get to the arresting judges. Because apparently you can't arrest judges. Even if they break the law. Right? Is that what we're doing? Ah, here it is. This is 2-year-old. Now that's the other one. Okay, well, I thought I'm not paying for a New York thing. That's, you know what? Let me just do the. Okay, AP. Do they have the documents? Ah, here we go. So here's a better explanation of it. The Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge is accused of escorting the man and his lawyer out of her courtroom through the jury door last week after learning immigration authorities were seeking his arrest. So if immigration was seeking his arrest and she knew it, then that's what the man was taken into custody outside the courthouse. That is bad. That is actually bad. She knew he was a fugitive, and she took him out to help him escape getting taken into custody. See, taken into custody. Wholeheartedly regrets it was not made in the interest of public safety. Sure. Dangerous rhetoric, blah, 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 blah. Court paper suggests that she was alerted to the presence of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents in the courthouse by her clerk, who was informed by an attorney that they appeared to be in the hallway. The FBI affidavit describes she was visibly angry over the arrival of immigration agents in the courthouse and says she pronounced the situation absurd before leaving the bench and retreating to her chambers. It says she and another judge later approached members of the arrest team inside the courthouse, displaying what witnesses described as a confrontational and angry demeanor. After a back and forth with officers over the warrant for the man, she demanded that the arrest team speak with the chief judge and led them from the courtroom, the affidavit says. After directing the arrest team to the chief judge's office, investigators said she returned to the courtroom and was heard saying the words to the effect, "Wait, come with me," before ushering Flores Ruiz and his lawyer through a jury door into a non-public area of the courthouse. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's... Like, if she had just led the... Like, here's the thing. If she had sent the arrest team into the chief judge's office and then just walked him out the front door, this would be sketch as fuck. But she took him to a place where the public cannot go. So I don't... That sounds worse to me. That may just be my brain thinking, coming up with bullshit, right? The action was unusual, the affidavit said, because only deputies, juries, court staff, and in-custody defendants being escorted by deputies used the back jury door. Defense attorneys and defendants who were not in custody never used the jury door. That's great. A sign that remained posted on Dugan's courtroom on Friday advised that if an attorney or other court official knows or believes that a person feels unsafe coming to the courthouse or courtroom, 615, they should notify their clerk and request appearance via Zoom. He was charged with 3 counts of misdemeanor domestic battery, confronted by a roommate for playing loud music, allegedly fought him in the kitchen and struck a woman who tried to break them up. Lovely. Another woman who tried to break up the fight called police and allegedly got elbowed in the arm. Flores, he faced 9 months in prison and a $10,000 fine. His public defender did not immediately return a phone message. Okay, federal judge, the same, appeared later that day. Remain in jail pending trial. Flores had been in the U.S. since re-entering the country after he was deported in 2013. So, he's a double illegal. Lovely. Said the victims were sitting in the courtroom and with the state prosecutors when the judge helped him escape immigrant arrest. The rule of law is very simple, she said. It doesn't matter what line of work you're in. If you break the law, we will follow the facts and we will prosecute you. So I would like to point out that they do seem to have a reason to arrest this individual and to charge them with a crime. Now, whether this like pans out in court and whether, anything comes of it, I don't know. But to me, this does sound like you are helping someone evade arrest, right? If those were officers from another state and they were authorized by that state's government to come arrest this dude, and you did that, that would be what that was, right? But because it's ICE, they think they could just fucking not deal with federal officials. Like, she's a fucking judge, dude. This is her fucking job. Like, she knows this thing. And the thing about it is like when you have sanctuary cities, that's a law enforcement thing, not cooperating, right? That's not actively helping the individuals evade ICE. That's different. And that's what this does look like it is. The White House officials echoed the sentiment, no one being above the law. Yep. You gotta love it when it comes back around. It bites you in the ass, doesn't it? You fucking gotta love it. Oh my God, it's so good. Because the entire time that Trump was being prosecuted, I guess I should say, because let's be real, he actually did commit some crimes. This is what they said. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. At the same time, while they were proving that's not the case, So I do find it hilarious. I find it extremely funny that this is going on and that this is what they're screaming. And as you can see, they immediately pivot to Nazi Germany, even though there is a legitimate reason to potentially bring charges against this person. Sending an the executive director of I don't know what Milwaukee Turners. I don't know what that is. So apparently, it's a civic group. Who cares what they fucking say? Sending an armed FBI and ICE agents into a building like this will intimidate individuals showing up to pay court fines. I want you to understand, they just said that having law enforcement in a courthouse will intimidate people for showing up to court to pay fines and to deal with whatever court proceedings they may have. You mean because they might be illegals? Because they might be unauthorized immigrants and they need to be deported? Huh. Weird. Weird that they phrase it that way. Prosecutors dropped the case. So there was another one in 2000 from Trump's first administration against a Massachusetts judge who was accused of helping him sneak out the back door after she agreed to refer herself to a state agency that investigated allegations of misconduct. Okay, that's fair. They dropped the charges when she did that. Because like this is one of those like low level things. It's not. Is it a big deal? Sure, but it's not like she like hopped in the car and had and like drove them to another state or something like that, something dumb like that, right? That would have been absolutely like fuck you, atrocious kind of deal. Had previously signaled that it was going to crack down on local officials who thwart federal immigration. Fair enough. Investigate prosecutors for potential criminal charges. Okay, so basically, it does look like that she intentionally helped an individual evade arrest by ICE. And the FBI. Not just ICE, the FBI. See, it is one of those things. It's like, just because you don't like ICE doesn't mean you get to fuck with how they do things, especially as a judge. Like, honestly, this kind of thing, even if it doesn't lead to arrest, it should absolutely be barred from being a judge for doing this. Like, this is like, you cannot do that. Like I said, if the FBI, if it wasn't ICE with him, it was FBI because they thought he might be part of like some fucking criminal terrorist ring, and you did this would be unconscionable, right? But because it's deportation and illegal immigration, they think they can just, disobey the law and not follow the law. When it's like one of these things where it's like, no one's above the law, right? We're supposed to follow the system, right? They keep claiming that, Garcia didn't get his due process rights. Garcia didn't get his due process rights. So we're supposed to follow the system, right? The system that says that if the authorities come to pick up a dude, you as a judge shouldn't, I don't know, try to prevent them from doing so. Maybe. I don't know. Perhaps. A little bit. All right, I got to take a break. My son is awake, and I need to go take care of him. So I will be right back after these few messages from my brain screen. Stay tuned for more right here at the Tango Hotel. Wow. I need more time.
Okay then.
Can you believe that?
You better have a freaking elite scope. Scrub. Scrub. Hi, boys. Operation Wailing Shadow. Onward to victory for honor and glory. Awaits. You know, it's good when you amuse yourself. Don't take that the wrong way. Nobody clip that. Nobody clip that. You be all right. Holy shit, did I just destroy that entire wave by myself? Oh my god, I did. And... gotcha, bitch! How about thee? you a ladder so
Hit it again.
you can get off my back.
Get up. Ogre smash. There it is, boys. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
The beacon is over here. We've surely missed the signal. Let's light it quickly before it's too...
Look at him. Look at him. He gives no fluffs. No! Brother!
We have our chance.
Holy Terra indeed. Holy.
But it feels
Good.
Hit me, bitch.
Arrived at Nozick's facility. Run distraction efforts as long as you can. I will fight to the
Compass made of ancient lore. He seeks treasure never dead. Truth hidden in the core. Golden heart of fearless guide. Through the fog he cuts so bold. Sea and sky, this pirate rides with a heart spun out of gold. Sirens sing their haunting song. Galaxies and waves unfold. Deep in caverns dark and long. Jewels and secrets hold. Knots drawn in celestial lane. Lead to worlds unknown and wide. In his chest a portal leads. Dreams and stars of a tribe. Golden heart of fearless guide. Through the fog he cuts so bold. Sea and sky, this pirate rides with a heart spun out of
Alrighty, boys. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to call it there. My son needs me this morning. So one thing I do want to say is thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it. Please stay over there. I would also like to point out that only fascists arrest judges, and no due process, no peace. I would just like to point out that only fascists arrest judges. Really? 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 Is that right? So, like, Oh my god, dude. Like, the level of fucking retardation that this requires is just beyond stupidity. Because it's obviously, if judges commit crimes, you fucking arrest them, just like everybody else. They drunk drive, you arrest them. They do armed robbery, you arrest them. They murder people, you arrest them. What the fuck are you talking about? They break the law, you arrest them, just like everybody else. You fucking dunce. Anyway, on that note, my friends, I love your faces, and I shall return. We'll probably be back tomorrow morning, same time, same channel, same Tango place. Stop it! He's playing with the green screen. So I love your faces, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, bros. Peace out.